Marcus Aurelius was Roman emperor for almost 20 years and the last significant representative of Stoicism. Nearly 2000 years later, we have Marcus Aurelius Meditations, the Roman emperor's self-reflections that contain much wisdom and from which we can still learn a lot today. In this video, I will go over 5 timeless Stoic lessons from philosopher-emperor Marcus Aurelius that will positively change your outlook on life. If you like the content, subscribe to the channel. First, pay attention to your perception. Marcus Aurelius wrote that things have no hold on the soul. They stand there unmoving, outside it. Disturbance comes only from within, from our own perceptions. What Marcus is trying to tell us here is that disturbances to our peace of mind arise from our own perceptions. How we feel depends on how we evaluate external events. We can only influence external events to a certain extent, if at all, or most of the time we can't control them at all. But what we can do is to train our way of dealing with them. We have no control over almost all events that happen to us in life, but we can control how we react to them. An event can be perceived as totally bad by one person, while for another person it is not a big problem which could not be solved. If we think about it more closely, there is no objective reality, only subjective realities. Every single one of us sees events or other people through our own glasses, with our own value judgments, beliefs, and opinions. So, in reverse, it means that the things we evaluate as good or bad in our lives depend only on our own perception. Or as Epictetus would put it, it isn't the things themselves that disturb people, but the judgments that they form about them. Marcus wrote on this, "Today I escaped from anxiety, or no, I discarded it because it was within me, in my own perceptions, not outside." Second, keep in mind that everything is changing and impermanent. Marcus wrote that everything you see will soon alter and cease to exist. Think of how many changes you've already seen. The world is nothing but change. Our life is only perception. Realizing that everything is in a constant state of change should bring 2 important benefits. First, we should not be afraid of death. After all, we will all die at some point, and it is something inevitable. We don't need to worry about things we can't change anyway. And second, become aware of our limited and precious lives. Meditating on mortality gives meaning and urgency to our lives, to not waste our precious time that is available to us and to make the most of each day. It inspires us to live our best life possible and be grateful for it. We will do things that are close to our hearts and do work that is personally meaningful to us. We will spend more time with the people we love. This means that more and more unnecessary actions and people who are destructive and unimportant to us will disappear from our lives. Marcus Aurelius warned himself in his meditations about the impermanence of life. He wrote, "Remember how long you've been putting this off, how many extensions the gods gave you, and you didn't use them. At some point, you have to recognize what world it is that you belong to, what power rules it, and from what source you spring. That there is a limit to the time assigned you. And if you don't use it to free yourself, it will be gone and will never return." In this context, I often have to think of people who receive a diagnosis of a life-threatening disease. Most of these people become aware for the first time in their lives that everything could soon be over. After receiving such news, they drop all the things they didn't like to do in life and focus only on what is really important to them. Marcus Aurelius wrote about this. Think of yourself as dead. You have lived your life. Now take what's left and live it properly. Third, live in the present moment. Marcus wrote, each of us lives only now, this brief instant. The rest has been lived already, or is impossible to see. We get upset about our past, which we cannot change, and worry about our future, which in most cases will not be as bad as we imagine it to be. What we miss out on is living in the present moment. Ruminating about the past and the future takes us out of the here and now and creates worries, fears, and discomfort that only make us feel bad and don't really move us forward. If we think about it more closely, it doesn't make so much sense to ruminate about the past or worry a lot about the future. But each of us does it because our mind likes to wander. The Buddhists describe our mind as a monkey mind because it is constantly in motion. When we are rather unmindful, we are not even aware of this process. Therefore, mindfulness can help us become aware of these spirals of thought so that we can return to the present moment. The present is all we have. Fourth, be grateful. Marcus wrote, look at what you have, the things you value most, and think of how much you'd crave them if you didn't have them. As we already learned, everything is constantly changing and impermanent. This underscores the importance of gratitude. We should be grateful for what we have, as it is not permanent. The entire first book of Marcus Aurelius Meditations is a revelation of gratitude to people he cherished in his life. A lack of present joy will lead to discomfort and unhappiness. If you are watching this video, you have a smartphone, tablet, or personal computer. You have internet, most likely a roof over your head, clothes, and something to eat and drink. Be grateful for that. Happiness is not having everything in the world we want, but rather being grateful for all the blessings we already have. However, sometimes the bright spots of life are not clearly visible because they are shrouded in clouds of our everyday difficulties and incessant challenges of life. If, on the other hand, we manage to see through these clouds to take an objective look at our lives, for which we can be grateful, then gratitude can be a powerful antidote to our anger, fear, sadness, or dissatisfaction. Likewise, it lets us rediscover our lost sense of the small miracles in life. Fifth, be a good person. Marcus wrote, stop talking about what the good man is like and just be one. This is more about letting actions speak and be a positive example for others rather than talking or thinking a lot about something. It is not what we say, but what we do that defines our character and the life we live. In this regard, being kind and honest to others in everyday life does more good than just thinking a lot about what a good person should be. Marcus put it this way: if it's not right, don't do it. If it's not true, don't say it. Or, no matter what anyone says or does, my task is to be good. Helping someone, even in the most mundane way, is ultimately worth much more than having an hour-long discussion about how to be good. The only thing that gets us anywhere in life is action, which means putting things into action. Taking actions that are consistent with the kind of life we want to live. We should act in a way that embodies the character, wisdom, and goodness of the person we want to be. Finally, I would like to read a quote from Marcus Aurelius that sums up the points quite well. He wrote, "Objective judgment now at this very moment. Unselfish action now at this very moment. Willing acceptance now at this very moment of all external events. That's all you need." Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, subscribe to the channel, and more importantly, share the video with someone who can benefit from this content. Thank you and stay inspired.